Baba Farid, who lived about in the 12th century, long time ago, when I was sort of, a young man. Anyway, a long time ago, and he is the first recorded poet of the Punjabi language. And his scripture, his writing is so important that it forms part of Sikhism's holy scripture. Part of his writing forms part of the holy scripture of the Sikhs. And so not only do Muslims revere him, but Sikhs and Hindus also revere him. And when I went to his mausoleum, when I went to his mazar just recently, I saw that there were women there were Sikhs there were Hindus there were Muslims there, and in perfect harmony and unity, and there was no issue and there was no problem between any of them. And although I'm not myself, I don't consider myself a Sufi or anything like Salman Ahmed or whatever, or a rock Sufi. Sufi rock, I don't know. I don't consider myself a Sufi, but I do consider that the progressive aspects of whatever thought there are, socialist thought, even the progressive aspects of capitalism, the progressive aspects of... No, let's forget about Maulana Mauduti, he doesn't have it. But whatever progressive aspects there are of any given philosophy, philosopher, thinker, school of thought, one should always try and nourish those. So this is a part of Sufism that I appreciate, that it is an interpretation which is very tolerant of other religions and of other religious interpretations, etc. And I think that's really something that we need to develop as well. I say this for myself. Oh, one last thing before I sing this song. A lot of my friends, my students say, sir, why are you always talking about the negative things in Pakistan? You're always saying this is wrong, that's wrong, and here's fundamentalism, and here's military dictatorship. Why can't we talk about the positive things, etc.? Well, honestly, there's so much positive. I'd love to talk all about that. But as I told you in the beginning, I'm a doctor, right? And so when you go to a doctor and you have a horrible stomachache and you say, doctor, I've got a horrible stomachache, and the doctor turns to you and he says, yeah, but your legs are working fine. That's all right. And your heart is all right and your lungs are fine, so everything's fine, go home. So if a doctor were to do that, he wouldn't be a very good doctor, would he? No, he'd be a good doctor if he identified the problems and did something to solve them. And so the reason why I bring up these problems that we face in Pakistan is certainly not to tarnish the image of our country, and certainly not to tarnish the image of our people. They are a wonderful people. They are my people. They are me. I am them. They are all of us, and people all over the world, I think, are wonderful in that way. So in that regard, I'm quite humanist in my views. But the point nonetheless is, if I talk about these problems, it is only out of a concern and a love and a desire to change these issues. Okay, it's not with a desire to put anybody down at all. So here it is. So here is Faida Ture Ture Aja. Those of you who have followed my music know that I also, take my acoustic guitar and I play in a lot of villages and stuff. I did this video called Utho Meri Duniya, which I did across the villages of Punjab, just an acoustic guitar and a tabla, and I was singing these songs and people were dancing and women were dancing and so on. So the thing about, the reason I bring this up is to get you to dance. No. Yes, actually, yes. The reason I bring this up is this is really rural music, although I composed it, but the themes I pick up is really, it's rustic, rural music. And you pick up a pipa, or you pick up a dhol, and you go to any village, or you pick up one of these strange looking guitars. Yes, I just bought this day before yesterday because, I need to light guitar for these sort of small evenings like I have with you. My friends say I look really dumb with this, but anyway. But anyway, the point is, when I play that music in the villages of Pakistan, I get a phenomenal response. People clap, people dance, people become part of that music. They are as much performers of that song as I am, whether they know the words or not. So I want you to put yourself in rural Pakistan and join me, both by clapping, and if you really get going with the rhythm, well, don't let those seats keep you down, and you can join me, and we'll have a ball. And on that note as well, sorry, I've gone for a long time, I know. On that note as well, dance too is a very integral element of our culture. Bulle Shah ke bare mein, you must have heard about him, that once his patron saint, Shah Inayat, got really angry with Bulle Shah. He felt that Bulle Shah maybe was getting a bit too arrogant and so on and so forth. He wasn't writing to Shah Inayat anymore, so he cut off all his links from Bulle Shah. Now Bulle Shah was very upset, and he said, what can I do to win back my patron, my teacher? I wish I had students like this, but anyway, what can I do to win him back? So what he did was he went to prostitutes, and he said, he wore ghungroos, and he said, teach me how to dance. And he learned to dance from the dancing ladies of Lahore, and then he went to Shah Inayat's bua, which is his doorway, and he stood there and he began to dance with ghungroos. And someone said to him, Bulle Shah, you're a sayyar, and here you are dancing like a kanjar, which is a caste of people that engage in music and so on. You're dancing like a kanjar. What, this is below your status. This is below your caste status. And interestingly, when I began to play music and being a professor and a doctor and, PhD, whatever, some people also said to me, Lord, Taimur se kanjar ho gaya. I gave them the same response that Bulle Shah gave to his detractors. And what did Bulle Shah say? Bulle Shah said, kanjar banaya meri izzat na kate, main te nach nach yaar manana hai. Which means ke by becoming a kanjar, I have not lost my status in any way or shape or form. I am dancing for the affection of my lover.